Hey, what's up people, how are you? In this video we're gonna talk about the provider package once again, and yeah, we're gonna make a TodoList app which uses provider package for state management. So let me just jump to the tutorial and show you how it's gonna work. Okay, so what I have over here is a widget tree, and as I've explained in my previous videos, it's gonna work like that. Let's say we have this particular widget tree, and this particular class over here has some state which needs to be transferred to this particular widget. So what it's gonna do is it is gonna extend a class called as change notifier, and we're gonna wrap a widget above both of these widgets, the one receiving the class state and one sending the state, with a change notifier provider widget. So here I have wrapped this particular widget as change notifier provider, and what's going to happen is whenever there is a change in the state of this particular widget, it's going to inform this change notifier provider that there is some change in the state, and this change notifier provider in turn will notify this consumer widget over here. So that's how it's going to work, and I've explained this earlier in my previous videos. So if you haven't watched my previous tutorials, so yeah, I would advise you to start over here. The name of the tutorial is provider package Flutter, and then I have also covered the proxy provider, which is kind of an advanced topic. So yeah, I would strongly suggest you to start over here, and if you're going to stick over here, then let's get started. So okay, so you already know how it's going to work. Now what we want to do is jump to our code editor, and let's make a new Flutter project. So create, let's say the name is to-dos. Okay, perfect. Let's wait for it to install. Okay, so the app has been built. Now what I'm gonna do is fire up this app. So for that I'm gonna cd to tools and flutter run. Perfect. And let's just clean our main.dart till then. So what the things we need are, let's get rid of this particular comment, and let's get rid of this whole theme thing. We don't need it, and we don't need this particular widget, my home page. So let's get rid of it. Okay, perfect. So we are ready with our app. I'm gonna pass in a new widget over here with name of TodoList. Perfect. So it's gonna throw an error. It's gonna show some error for now, but we'll work on it, and yeah, it's gonna go away. But we need two more files, TodoList.dart, and the another file is gonna be TodoList Model. Okay, so it threw an error, and to resolve that error, for now I'm gonna pass in a scaffold over here so that it doesn't throw the error. I'm gonna Control C and run it once again. Okay, let's just flutter run. This model class of yours is gonna hold the state of this to-do list, and this to-do list is gonna hold the main front-end part, the UI part. And this way we are gonna separate both data and the UI part, and which is pretty necessary at production, the industry level. So let's first go to our pubspec.yaml and install a package called as provider. So I'm gonna use the VS Code extension for installing dependency in pubspec.yaml, and it got installed. You can go to pub.dev and get your dependency, or you can use the way I did it. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna make a class with name TodoList Model, and it's gonna extend change notifier provider. I'm sorry, change notifier. So what this class is, it's the okay, so my system is lagging a bit. It's this particular class which extends the change notifier provider. I'm sorry, change notifier. And now we need a widget to wrap with change notifier provider and another widget which is gonna be the consumer. So let's first define this class, and I don't need that diagram again, so I'm gonna quit it. Alright, apart from this TodoList model, what else I need is a class called as tasks. I'm sorry, task. This task class is gonna have a string with name of, let's say, task title. Okay, bad typing. And the second thing it's gonna have is completed, and this parameter, this variable is gonna be a boolean. Perfect. All right, next thing I want to do is okay, so this particular task class needs a constructor like this. So let's give it a constructor, and in constructor it's gonna require this dot task title, and we are gonna give is completed as equals to false. Okay, we cannot do this over here. What we can do is, let's just make a complete equals to false. Okay, all right, we are done with this particular class, and now I'm gonna move into TodoList class. What I'm gonna do is make a list of task, and I'm gonna give it the name of tasks. I'm gonna initialize it empty. This, now we need a getter function to retrieve this list, so for that I'm gonna make a getter function with name all tasks, and what it's gonna do is returning this particular list like this. Perfect. There are two more functions which we need. One of them is add task like this, and another one is delete task. So, and what these are going to do is tasks.add, and it's going to need a task like this. Add the task to this particular list. All right, and what this delete task is going to do is, it's also going to take a task and it's going to delete that particular task from the list. So what we can do is task dot remove task. All right, so we are basically done with the model class, and we're getting these errors. It's not any fault of our code, instead it's the fault of the IDE. So VS Code is responsible for that. We cannot do anything. I'm gonna begin with our UI development. I'm gonna make a class TodoList, and let's import our material dart. Perfect. Okay, let me just restart my code editor. This should resolve this issue. Let's wait for a moment. Alright, I'm gonna fire up the app once again. cd flutter, and let's what is the name? Todos. Okay, so it's gonna have a container. This container is gonna have a child widget, and this child widget is gonna be a column. This column is gonna take two children's. So let's name the children's as two children, and the children are gonna be of type widget. They go like this. Yeah, let's wait for it to just configure each and everything. Okay, I guess it's done, and I'm gonna give two children over here. First one is gonna be a container. Okay, why isn't it showing? Yeah, and second one is gonna be again a container. Perfect. Okay, so let me just add a comma over here. What the first container is gonna have as child is expanded widget, because I'm gonna add a list view builder in it, and I cannot directly add it to container. It's gonna throw an exception. The rendering library will throw an exception if I directly do that. Alright, and I need to add one more comma over here. Perfect. This container is gonna have a child of row, because we need a text field as well as a add button. So row, and it's gonna have children, but the text field needs to be inside a flexible widget. Again, it's something related to rendering library. We cannot directly add text field in a row. Text field and this row, and inside this row we need to have a raised button. So let's add a raised button like this. Okay, perfect. Now what I'm gonna do is let's first define our list view builder. Let's give this thing. Okay, so yeah, I did some error. Perfect. It's gonna take in build context and stuff, so let's just use this thing and remove these curly braces. Alright, what I'm gonna return is a list style, and this list style is gonna have a title, and this title for now I'm gonna give a text, and let's give it some task for now, and later on we are gonna make it dynamic. And next thing this list is gonna have is a trailing, and this trailing is gonna be a flat button. This flat button for now doesn't have any onPressed method, and the child is gonna be a text widget, and this text is gonna be done. Okay, so we are done till here. Let's add a text form over here, text field over here. Perfect. So this is all related to UI. If you're not like able to follow up, then yeah, you can definitely create your own UI. And let's give this a child. Child is gonna be a text. This text is gonna be, let's say, what we can give, add with an extra D. Perfect. I'm gonna restart now, just hoping it doesn't throw an error. No, it didn't. Okay, so the reason it didn't is because we haven't yet passed our class over here. So the first thing I'm going to do is wrap this whole thing inside a scaffold, or let's just define a scaffold over here. It's going to have an app bar. App bar is going to be, let's say, what can it be? So let's make it pretty simple. It's going to have a title with name, with text, to do. Nice. And then it's gonna have a body, and the body is gonna be our to-do list. All right. Now we need to import our to-do list. Let's see if we can do it directly from here. Yeah, it has imported it for us. Now let's restart and see if it throws some error. It didn't, and yeah, you can see that we have got our to-do list ready. And for now it's hard coded, but now I'm gonna tap into this TodoList model, and I'm gonna first wrap our main.dart, the material app, inside a change notifier provider. So change notifier provider, this particular widget, and this particular widget is I've shown you in the widget tree that it's going to inform the consumer widget about any changes in the state. So it's going to take a create property, and create is going to be TodoList model. So create is just the class which wants to share the state, and here we need to give the class to which this particular provider belongs. So I'm gonna give TodoList model. Alright. Next thing I wanna do is make a text editing controller to read the value from text field. In controller, I'm gonna copy it. Okay, T1 equals to Control V. Perfect, we are done. I'm gonna add this text editing controller to controller over here, T1. Okay, so one more issue we have, no, not actually an issue. Okay, so I'm getting the I need to move this raised button inside this row. I didn't pay any attention to it. Yeah, this way they will be aligned in a single row if it doesn't throw an error. Yeah, exactly what I thought of. And yeah, you can see that we are barely able to see our text field. For that, you can definitely add some border outline in the decoration property of text field, but yeah, I'm gonna proceed like this. So what I want to do is this class inherits from, okay, it's asking for it to be final, that's all. Next thing I want to do is, as soon as this raised button is pressed, I wanna first let's make a instance of TodoList model class. So I'm gonna make a variable todos equals to provider dot off. First let's import a provider package. Perfect, and I'm gonna give it a off, right, and I'll explain it in a moment. TodoList model, perfect. So what it's doing is it's gonna give us an instance named todos, and this is gonna be an instance of this particular class. So what we can do is it won't be any different if I wrote it like this, TodoList model. So it's I hope you get it now, and if you don't, then please check out my second last video just before this video. I mean the the video before this video. Okay, I'll link it in the description, the very first video on my provider package. Alright, so now what I need to do is let's give this particular first let's make our list dynamic. So this is gonna have to-dos dot all tasks, and I'm gonna pass in index dot title, task title. Alright, so this way we'll get all the tasks, and it's gonna need a item count. So for that, what I can do is add an item count property. It's gonna be to-dos dot all tasks dot length. Pretty simple, right? Now what I want to do is first let's restart and see if it works. Let's see if it throws an error. No, it doesn't, and yeah, you can see that our screen is totally blank. Next thing I want to do is I want to make this function to add the value whatever is inside the text field. So how can I do that? It's pretty simple. To-dos dot add task, and yeah, what we can do is t1 dot, not like that, we'll have to make a task object. It's gonna need a task title, and this one is gonna be t1 dot text. Perfect. Now if I restart once again, let me just finish with it, then I'll restart. And what this trailing is gonna do is it's gonna remove the task whichever we like tap on. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna to-dos dot all tasks dot remove. Okay, this is not a good way of doing this, but yeah, I think it will give you a gist of what's happening, what's exactly happening. But yeah, it's not a very good way of doing this, removing the task. Remove task, and what we are gonna do is give a task all task, and instead of this thing we can directly give index. Okay, to-dos dot remove. All right, and to-dos dot all task dot remove. All right, and now I think we are done with our app. Let me just restart and let me just check if it works. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna let's say we add a task such as get grocery, and I'm gonna add it. Okay, it's not working, there's some issue. To-dos dot add task. The issue is that it's getting added but it's not notifying us, so we have to call notify listeners over here like this. So what this function do is if wherever it is called, it will notify the listeners, that means this particular widget, about all the changes that have happened. So I'm gonna give a notify listeners over here also. So now let's restart and check if it works. Alright, so let's give some gibberish. It's getting added. It's not getting cleared though. You can easily use that t1.clear, and when I click on done, it's not getting removed. Another exception was thrown. Alright, okay, to-dos dot all tasks dot remove. Okay, so why am I even using all tasks? Instead I should be using delete task. Yeah, this is a proper way of doing it. So I'm gonna do to-dos dot all tasks and index. This should work. It adds and yeah, it deletes. Perfect. And to clear this up, whenever a task is added, all what you can do is, after that you can call t1.clear. Perfect. And now when you'll restart, and you can check that, okay, let it restart. I just add some gibberish and it's getting cleared, and when I tap on done, it's getting deleted. So get grocery, done, complete video, and done. So yeah, that's all for today, and if you like the video, please like, share and subscribe.